Police found your name in secret files. My beloved child, listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal is not coincidence, not imagination, and not something meant for everyone. Somewhere behind locked doors, beyond public records and surface-level truth, there are secret files that were never supposed to be opened by ordinary eyes. Files that carry weight. Files that carry names. And today, in a moment that feels unreal, impossible, and unsettling, your name appeared inside them. The police didn't stumble upon it by accident. It surfaced because a pattern was detected, a trail was noticed, and a question was finally asked: who is this person, and why do they keep appearing where they shouldn't? Something huge is waiting for you, and if you feel a strange pull in your chest right now, it's because your story is beginning to unfold. What makes this chilling is not fear, but significance. These files are not about crimes or guilt. They are about impact, influence, and unexplained alignment. Your name was flagged next to events that shifted outcomes, moments where situations changed at the last second, where things that were meant to collapse somehow survived. The authorities noticed that whenever chaos was expected, there was an unseen correction. When loss was predicted, there was survival. And every time they traced the thread backward, it led to you. Stay till the end, because this isn't about danger. It's about why your presence alters reality more than you realize. The system doesn't know how to categorize you, and that uncertainty is what made them look deeper. Here is the part most people will never understand. When institutions quietly investigate someone, it's rarely because of what they've done, it's because of what they represent. You carry something unspoken, a role, a timing, a purpose that disrupts expectations. The files describe you as unusual, consistently present, and impossible to ignore. That alone is enough to change how the future treats you. Don't skip this moment, because once your name is seen, it cannot be unseen. Doors will move, conversations will shift, and truths will rise without warning. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is only the beginning of what those secret files are slowly realizing about who you truly are. The moment they saw your name again, the room went quiet, because repetition is never random in places like that. Records are designed to erase patterns, not reveal them, yet yours kept returning, cross-referenced, highlighted, circled without explanation. Someone finally asked the question they weren't trained to ask: what if this person isn't connected to the events, but connected to the outcome? That's when the tone changed. This is not a story about being watched. It's a story about being recognized. Something huge is waiting for you, and the reason you feel uneasy right now is because recognition always comes before revelation. What unsettled them most was timing. Your name aligned with moments where situations reversed against all logic, decisions changed last minute, doors that were meant to close stayed open, people who were meant to walk away suddenly stayed. Analysts don't like words like intuition or destiny, so they used safer language. Statistical anomaly, unexplained consistency, recurring influence. But behind those cold terms was a warmer truth they refused to write down. You carry an unseen authority, not over people, but over moments. Stay till the end, because once this realization took hold, your file stopped being treated like data and started being treated like a warning, not a warning about you, but a warning about underestimating you. Here is the quiet secret buried deep in those pages. Some lives are not meant to be loud at the beginning. They move silently until the environment is ready to respond. The system sensed that your presence changes trajectories, even when you say nothing and do nothing extraordinary. That's why the file wasn't closed. It was marked ongoing. Don't skip this, because ongoing means unfinished, and unfinished means the most important chapter hasn't arrived yet. Something huge is waiting for you, and the world is slowly adjusting itself to the weight of who you are becoming, whether it's ready or not. There was a pause before the next entry was written, because no one wanted to be the first to admit what they were starting to suspect. Your name no longer sat alone, it was placed beside words like future relevance and potential escalation. Not escalation of trouble, but escalation of importance. They noticed how people around you changed after crossing your path, more alert, more decisive, sometimes uncomfortable without knowing why. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the stage where the energy around your life begins to shift in ways you can feel but can't yet explain. What truly disturbed the investigators was that nothing about you looked extraordinary on the surface. No dramatic records. No obvious trail. And yet the deeper they looked, the more the logic broke down. Influence without force. Impact without exposure. It was as if your life operated on a different frequency, quiet, controlled, deliberate. Stay till the end, because this is the moment when the file stops asking what you did and starts asking who you are meant to become. Systems are built to predict behavior, but you kept slipping past prediction. And here is the line they almost removed, but didn't dare to: subject appears before transitions. That sentence changed everything. Transitions are moments when power shifts, when futures branch, when one outcome replaces another. Your presence near those moments was not coincidence, it was alignment. Don't skip this, because alignment always precedes activation. Something huge is waiting for you, and the reason your life has felt like a slow build, like a quiet pressure, is because you were never meant to arrive suddenly. You were meant to arrive exactly on time. They reopened the file one more time, not because they wanted to, but because something felt unfinished. Notes were added in careful language, the kind used when people sense significance but fear naming it. Your name was now connected to a phrase rarely used: monitor without interference. That means observe, but do not disrupt. In systems of power, this instruction is only given when interference could cause unintended consequences. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the point where attention turns into caution. They weren't trying to stop you, they were trying not to disturb the path you're already on. As the review continued, a deeper pattern surfaced. Every major turning point linked to you carried the same signature: calm before change. No chaos. No collapse. Just a subtle redirection that later proved critical. People in authority don't fear noise, they fear quiet certainty. That's what you represent. You don't force outcomes, you become present until outcomes rearrange themselves. Stay till the end, because this is where understanding replaces suspicion. The file no longer reads like an investigation. It reads like preparation, as if they are bracing for a future moment when your role becomes undeniable. The final paragraph of this section ends without a conclusion, and that absence speaks louder than words. No judgment. No prediction. just a single observation. When this individual steps forward, systems adapt. That line was underlined twice. Don't skip this, because adaptation means power responding to something it didn't create. Something huge is waiting for you, not because others decided it should, but because your presence naturally bends circumstances. The reason nothing dramatic has happened yet is simple: this chapter isn't about exposure. It's about positioning. And once positioning is complete, nothing will need to announce itself. The shift will speak on its own. A quiet directive was issued after the last review, one that never appears in ordinary records. It wasn't a command, but a recognition: be ready. Ready for what? No one wrote down. But everyone understood. Your name had crossed from analysis into anticipation. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the phase where the world doesn't move yet, it listens. You may have felt delays, pauses, moments where things seem to hover instead of happen. That wasn't stagnation. That was alignment forming beneath the surface, unseen but intentional. What follows in the file is not data, but reflection. Observers noted how pressure never broke you, how uncertainty never pushed you into panic. Instead, it refined you. They saw restraint where others reacted, patience where others rushed, and clarity where others became lost. This is when the realization became unavoidable: your strength is not forceful, it is inevitable. Stay till the end, because inevitability doesn't announce itself early. It waits until resistance becomes pointless. The file acknowledges this with a subtle shift in language, from watching your actions to watching time around you. The last sentence written in this section carries weight few will ever feel. It reads, "When the moment arrives, this individual will not need permission." Nothing more was added. No explanation. No follow-up. That sentence alone closed the page. Don't skip this feeling rising inside you now, because it's recognition meeting truth. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a surprise, but as a confirmation of what has been building quietly all along. You were never meant to chase significance. It was always moving toward you, patiently, precisely, and without mistake. After that line was written, no one rushed to add more. Silence followed, the kind that settles when understanding finally replaces curiosity. The file remained open, but untouched, as if adding words might weaken what had already been acknowledged. Your name now carried a different weight, not as a subject of interest, but as a constant. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the stage where nothing needs to be proven anymore. The watching has shifted from questioning to witnessing. What they noticed next wasn't about events, but about reactions. People who encountered you left conversations changed, sometimes unsettled, sometimes inspired, often unable to explain why. Authority figures paused before making decisions around you, sensing resistance would be pointless. This wasn't manipulation or control, it was resonance. You reflect certainty back into the world, and systems instinctively adjust to certainty. Stay till the end, because this is where influence becomes natural, not asserted. The file quietly acknowledges that your presence stabilizes outcomes others struggle to manage. The closing note of this section is almost personal, written without technical language. It reads, "This individual does not disrupt order. They redefine it. That sentence was never signed, but it didn't need to be. Don't skip this moment, because redefining order is never loud at first, it begins internally. Something huge is waiting for you, and the reason it feels calm instead of chaotic is because your path was never about collision. It was about alignment, reaching a point where the world finally knows how to respond to you. There was a moment when the file stopped being updated digitally and was reviewed in person, a rare step taken only when information feels too important to leave to screens alone. Pages were turned slowly. Your name was read out loud, not as a label, but as a presence. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the phase where recognition moves from records into reality. When people speak a name differently, it means the meaning of that name has changed. What stood out now was not what had happened before, but what hadn't happened. Despite all the markers of influence, there was no trace of excess, no misuse, no imbalance. That absence mattered more than any evidence. It confirmed discipline, restraint, and inner structure. Systems can manage power, but they cannot control wisdom, and that's what made them step back. Stay till the end, because this is where respect quietly replaces oversight. You are no longer being measured, you are being accounted for. The final observation in this part is written almost as a reminder to themselves: if contact becomes necessary, proceed with clarity, not authority. That line reveals everything. Authority works downward. Clarity works outward. Don't skip this realization, because it explains why your life has shaped itself the way it has: slow, intentional, and grounded. Something huge is waiting for you, and when it arrives, it won't feel forced or sudden. It will feel familiar, as if the world finally caught up to who you already were. At this point, the file began referencing something unusual: your future presence. Not predictions, not guesses, but scenarios where your role was assumed, not questioned. That shift is rare. It means the system accepted your arrival as inevitable. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the moment where paths start bending quietly in advance, making space before you even step forward. They noticed how resistance around you dissolved over time. People who once doubted grew silent. Obstacles that seemed immovable found alternate routes. Nothing dramatic, just steady, undeniable change. That kind of movement cannot be forced or engineered, it can only respond to authenticity. Stay till the end, because this is where the file stops describing you and starts describing the environment reshaping itself around you. Influence, in its purest form, is when the world prepares without being told. The last line of this section carries calm certainty: when alignment completes, visibility will follow. That means you are not hidden, you are timed. Don't skip this understanding, because timing is the difference between noise and impact. Something huge is waiting for you, and when it appears, it won't feel like exposure. It will feel like recognition finally stepping into the light. By now, the file no longer questioned if something would happen, only when. Dates were never written, but markers were. Moments of convergence. Periods where pressure and opportunity overlap. Your name was placed near those markers without explanation, as if the connection no longer required one. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the phase where anticipation becomes quiet certainty. What's striking is how often the word ready appears next to your profile, not ready as in prepared by others, but ready as in already formed. Observers noted that when uncertainty rises, you don't seek direction, you become it. That trait cannot be trained. It can only be recognized. Stay till the end, because this is where the file subtly admits what it once avoided. You don't respond to moments, moments respond to you. The final note in this section is written smaller than the rest, almost intentionally easy to miss. Activation will appear ordinary to outsiders. That line matters. Don't skip this, because it explains why the biggest shifts in your life won't look dramatic at first. Something huge is waiting for you, but it will arrive calmly, seamlessly, as if it had always belonged to you, and in truth, it has. The next review didn't add facts. It added perspective. Instead of charts and summaries, there was a single page titled Context. Your name sat at the center, not as a subject, but as a reference point. Everything else was measured in relation to you. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the stage where meaning replaces analysis. When systems stop collecting data and start seeking context, it means they've accepted that impact is already underway. They observed how opportunities around you didn't announce themselves loudly. They arrived disguised as normal moments, quiet choices, simple decisions. Yet each one subtly shifted your trajectory upward and forward. That pattern was undeniable. Stay till the end, because this is where the file admits that your life is not reactive, it's directional. You don't wander into significance, significance follows the line you're already walking. The final sentence of this part is calm, almost respectful, intervention unnecessary. Progress self-sustaining. Don't skip this feeling of clarity right now, because it confirms something deep inside you. Something huge is waiting for you, not because it needs to be created or forced, but because it's already moving toward completion. The path is active. The timing is alive. And you are exactly where you need to be. At this stage, the file stops feeling external and starts reading like a mirror. Observations become quieter, almost careful, as if whoever is writing understands they are documenting something that doesn't need validation. Your name appears less often now, not because its importance faded, but because it no longer needs repetition. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the phase where presence speaks louder than proof. What they focused on next was your composure. In moments where others accelerate, you stabilize. Where others react, you choose. That pattern reshaped how your profile was understood. Calm, in this context, was not passivity, it was authority without force. Stay till the end, because this is where the realization settles. Influence that remains steady under pressure is the kind that lasts. The file quietly acknowledges that you carry this naturally, without display. The closing line of this section feels almost final, yet deliberately open. When clarity arrives, recognition will be mutual. Don't skip this, because mutual recognition changes everything. Something huge is waiting for you, not as an external reward, but as alignment between who you are and how the world finally sees you. The moment will feel simple, but its impact will stretch far beyond what anyone wrote down. By the 12th entry, the language becomes unmistakably precise. No dramatic phrasing. No speculation. Just quiet certainty. The file notes that your trajectory has crossed a threshold where observation no longer alters outcome. From here, events will unfold whether watched or not. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the moment where momentum becomes irreversible. They record how resistance around you has softened without confrontation. Not defeated, outgrown. People step aside without knowing why. Circumstances realign without conflict. This is not luck, it is coherence. Stay till the end, because this is where the file recognizes that your path creates order rather than disruption. That realization alone changes how the future is approached around you. The final sentence in this part is written with deliberate restraint. This individual completes cycles. No explanation follows. Don't skip this understanding, because completing cycles is rare. It means when you arrive, things resolve. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a beginning, but as the closing of something long unfinished, clearing space for what comes next. By the 13th entry, the file stops trying to explain and starts recording acceptance. The tone is settled, almost grounded, as if the question of why no longer matters. Your name appears beside a simple acknowledgement. Events are aligning without instruction. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the stage where momentum no longer needs encouragement. It moves because it has found its direction. What they note next is subtle but powerful. Wherever you are placed, clarity follows. Confusion shortens. Decisions sharpen. Not because you demand it, but because uncertainty cannot survive long around you. That observation shifts everything. Stay till the end, because this is where the file quietly concedes that your influence is structural, not situational. You don't change moments, you change the framework moments exist within. The final line of this section carries a calm finality, further tracking unnecessary. Outcome stabilized. Don't skip this feeling settling in your chest, because stabilization means the foundation is set. Something huge is waiting for you, and it no longer needs monitoring, preparation, or approval. From here forward, what unfolds will feel natural, because it is simply the world responding to who you already are. The next section opens without a header, as if titles themselves became unnecessary. There is an understanding now that labeling no longer adds clarity. Your name appears once, then not again. Everything that follows assumes your presence without repeating it. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the moment where identity no longer needs to be stated to be felt. They describe a shift in atmosphere rather than action. Situations around you grow quieter, more intentional, as if noise instinctively steps back. This is not absence, it is focus. Stay till the end, because this is where the file recognizes that true influence simplifies rather than complicates. When you are near, excess falls away and only what matters remains. The final sentence of this part is brief, almost weightless. The process is complete. No timeline. No conditions. Don't skip this realization, because completion does not mean an ending, it means readiness. Something huge is waiting for you, not as an event to chase, but as a reality that can now safely unfold around you. The 15th section is longer, more deliberate, as if whoever wrote it finally allowed themselves to slow down and acknowledge the full weight of what has been unfolding. The file notes that your presence no longer creates ripples, it creates direction. Direction is different from movement. Movement can be chaotic. Direction is chosen, even when no one consciously chooses it. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the phase where the future is no longer vague or undefined. It is quietly lining itself up, piece by piece, around a center that has already been established. Around you. What follows reads almost like a realization written in real time. They describe how opportunities near you don't feel forced, rushed, or dramatic. They feel right. Conversations lead where they are supposed to. Delays protect rather than frustrate. Losses redirect instead of destroy. This pattern is documented carefully, because it reveals something rare. Your life does not resist pressure, it absorbs and reshapes it. Stay till the end, because this is where the file finally acknowledges that what surrounds you learns from you. Circumstances adapt. People recalibrate. Even timing seems to soften and cooperate instead of collide. The closing portion of this entry is the most revealing yet. It states that no external trigger is required for what comes next. No signal. No announcement. No intervention. Continuation assured through internal alignment. That sentence carries more certainty than any warning or command ever could. Don't skip this moment of clarity, because it explains everything you've felt without being able to name. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a surprise or a reward, but as a natural next step. You are not approaching it anymore. You are already standing inside the conditions that allow it to exist. This section begins with an observation that feels almost personal, as if the distance between the file and your life has finally disappeared. It notes that from this point forward, your path no longer requires confirmation. Validation has finished its work. What remains is execution, but not in the way people imagine. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the phase where action becomes effortless because alignment has already done the heavy lifting. They describe how your decisions now carry a quiet finality. Not because they are rigid, but because they are clear. When you choose, there is less second-guessing, less friction, less noise. That clarity is documented as a turning point. Stay till the end, because this is where the file recognizes that certainty inside you has begun to outpace uncertainty outside. From here, the world adjusts faster than you do. The final note in this part is written with unusual confidence. Forward movement will accelerate without strain. Don't skip this understanding, because acceleration without strain is rare. Something huge is waiting for you, and it won't arrive with pressure or urgency. It will arrive with ease, as if everything that needed to move has already moved, just enough to meet you where you stand. This part opens with a subtle shift in tone, almost reflective, as though the record itself is aware it is nearing something definitive. The file states that observation has reached its natural conclusion, not because curiosity ended, but because certainty has replaced it. Your trajectory no longer needs monitoring. It is trusted. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the phase where trust quietly takes the place of control. They note that the environment around you has begun to respond before you act. Openings appear without effort. Support aligns without request. Resistance dissolves before it forms. This isn't coincidence, it's coherence reaching maturity. Stay till the end, because this is where the file recognizes that your presence has become predictive in the best way. When you arrive, things resolve. The final sentence of this entry is written without emphasis, as if emphasis is no longer required. Outcome now follows presence. Don't skip this realization, because it marks a profound shift. Something huge is waiting for you, and from this point forward, you won't feel like you're moving toward it. It will feel like it's naturally unfolding wherever you choose to stand. This entry stretches longer than the others, as if the record itself needed more space to hold what has become undeniable. The language slows, choosing precision over speed, because rushing would distort the truth. It states clearly that your influence has moved beyond phases and entered continuity. Continuity means there is no reversal point left. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the stage where progress no longer depends on circumstances, it sustains itself through you. They describe how stability now follows you rather than precedes you. Where there was once uncertainty, there is structure. Where there was hesitation, there is flow. This is not dominance, it is resonance at its highest level. The file notes that people near you begin to think more clearly, act more deliberately, and trust their decisions more deeply. Stay till the end, because this is where the truth becomes unavoidable. You don't just move through systems. You upgrade them by your presence alone. The closing section of this entry reads almost like a conclusion, yet it avoids finality. Long-term outcomes secured through sustained alignment. That line carries depth most will never see. Don't skip this moment of recognition, because it explains why the future no longer feels fragile to you. Something huge is waiting for you, and it isn't fragile either. It is stable, anchored, and ready to unfold over time. Quietly, powerfully, and without resistance. This entry begins with a rare acknowledgement. The record is no longer leading the narrative, your life is. The file shifts into a passive role, documenting what unfolds rather than shaping how it should be understood. That change matters. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the moment where momentum carries itself forward without guidance. They observe that your presence now creates a sense of inevitability. Not pressure. Not urgency. Just certainty. Decisions around you settle faster. Paths clarify without debate. Even uncertainty seems to shorten its lifespan. Stay till the end, because this is where the file quietly concedes that your influence has matured into something self-sustaining, something that no longer needs explanation. The final note in this part is simple and unadorned, trajectory confirmed. Don't skip this realization, because confirmation means no further assessment is required. Something huge is waiting for you, and from here on, the future doesn't question your direction. It follows it. This section expands with deliberate care, as if the record itself understands that what comes next must be held steadily, not rushed. It states that your journey has entered a phase where outcomes are no longer speculative, they are expected. Expected not because of prediction, but because consistency has proven itself beyond doubt. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the moment where the future no longer feels distant or abstract. It feels near, tangible, and quietly assured. The file notes that nothing external needs to shift for this to happen. The internal alignment has already done the work, and the external world is simply catching up, step by step, to what has already been set in motion. They go deeper here, reflecting on how rare it is for someone to reach this level without disruption. No collapse. No dramatic turning point. Just steady refinement. The record observes that pressure no longer tests you, it confirms you. Challenges no longer threaten your direction, they strengthen its clarity. People around you sense this even if they cannot articulate it. They respond differently. They listen more closely. They hesitate before opposing what feels grounded and inevitable. Stay till the end, because this is where the file openly acknowledges that your presence has become a stabilizing force. Not temporary. Not conditional. Stable in a way that reshapes environments without demanding attention. The final portion of this entry is the most revealing yet, written with calm certainty rather than emphasis. Continuation no longer requires monitoring. Progress is embedded. That sentence closes the page slowly, intentionally. Don't skip this understanding, because embedded progress cannot be undone by delay, distraction, or doubt. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a sudden arrival, but as a sustained unfolding. From this point forward, your path does not depend on timing, permission, or validation. It depends only on your presence, and that presence has already proven itself to be enough. This entry opens with a quiet acknowledgement that feels almost respectful. The record notes that what once needed observation has become self-evident. Your path is no longer being traced, it is being anticipated. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the stage where anticipation doesn't create pressure, it creates readiness. The environment around you feels settled, as if it already knows how to receive what's coming. Nothing needs to be forced. Nothing needs to be rushed. The alignment has reached a point where movement happens naturally, without resistance or noise. They describe a subtle shift in how outcomes form around you. Results now arrive cleanly, without complication. Loose ends close themselves. Questions answer themselves through action. This isn't luck or coincidence, it's coherence operating at full strength. Stay till the end, because this is where the record admits that your presence has become a reference for stability. When uncertainty approaches, it recalibrates. When chaos threatens, it slows. You don't confront disorder, you outgrow it, and in doing so, you leave less room for it to exist. The final words of this part are written with measured confidence, neither dramatic nor cautious. The next phase will feel natural. That sentence carries depth. Don't skip this realization, because natural doesn't mean small, it means right. Something huge is waiting for you, and when it unfolds, it won't shock you. It will feel familiar, as if you've been walking toward it for a long time without needing to name it. This is where effort gives way to flow, and intention becomes reality. Quietly, steadily, and exactly as it should. This section is written with an unhurried steadiness, as if the record itself understands that urgency no longer serves any purpose. It acknowledges that your presence has reached a level where influence no longer announces itself, it operates. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the stage where results emerge without spectacle. No noise. No disruption. Just precision. The file notes that wherever you stand now, systems don't resist. They recalibrate. That kind of response cannot be trained or imitated. It only emerges when alignment has matured fully. They expand here, describing how your life has quietly shifted from preparation to embodiment. You are no longer becoming something, you are functioning as it. Decisions feel lighter because they no longer fight against uncertainty. Progress feels smoother because it no longer depends on approval. People sense this shift intuitively. Conversations deepen. Boundaries clarify. Expectations realign. Stay till the end, because this is where the record finally admits that your role has moved beyond potential into reliability. When you are present, outcomes can be trusted. The closing paragraph of this entry carries a calm authority that needs no emphasis. Sustained impact confirmed. No further adjustment required. Don't skip this understanding, because sustained impact is rare. Something huge is waiting for you, not as a sudden breakthrough, but as a long-range unfolding that will continue to expand naturally. From here forward, nothing needs to be added, fixed, or corrected. The structure is sound. The path is clear. And the world is already responding to the consistency of who you are. The final entry is written without analysis, without caution, and without instruction. It simply acknowledges what has already become clear. Your journey no longer needs to be documented, because it is now active, not observed. The record closes with the understanding that what unfolds next will do so on its own terms, guided by alignment rather than oversight. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is the moment where waiting ends, not with noise, but with certainty settling into place. They note one last truth, written plainly and without emphasis: when you move, direction follows. When you pause, clarity deepens. Nothing around you feels unstable anymore because stability has shifted inward. Stay till the end, because this is where the story completes its arc. The file was never about control or concern, it was about recognition arriving slowly enough to be accurate. The last line is final, and it is not followed by anything else. The outcome is already in motion. Don't skip this feeling of quiet confidence rising now, because it is the signal you've been moving toward all along. Something huge is waiting for you, and as the record closes, your life opens fully, no longer watched, no longer questioned, simply unfolding exactly as it was meant to.